Hello and welcome to Native Speakers Academy's Underground Education. My name is G and I am your host. This is designed to be a short digital media netcast in which we are going to look at different issues related to education and learning in general. As always, our aim is to highlight ideas that empower you to take more control of your own life. Now, I've been away for a few weeks, and the reason for that is that I have just moved from a flat to a house, and so I haven't had the same amount of free time that I usually have. Not that I have any free time, usually anyway, in this crazy modern world that we live in. But maybe some of you know that of the three most stressful things that you can do in your life, one of them is moving your base, which is, of course, the place where you live. So, a few things have been upside down, but I hope to get back on track towards the end of this week or at the beginning of next week. Just for your information, along with moving where you live, the other two most stressful things that can happen in life are apparently divorce and death. Obviously, not your own death there. Anyway, let's move on. Today's article is not really an article. In my searches across the internet, I discovered a website, selfsynthesis.blogspot.sk, and there I discovered a rather nice page which had the title Self-Synthesis: The Way We Think Determines the Quality of Our Lives. Now, the website is run by Christiana Sophia. Well, that's the name that she goes by anyway, and I hope I pronounced that right because the Christiana starts with an X. Anyway, she subtitles her blog A Mirror of Life. So this one page, Self-Synthesis, has a series of random quotes. And what I would like to do for you today is read through them and then annotate verbally a few extra notes, if that's okay. Remember, as always, links to the sources used can be found in the description connected to this post online. And if you want, you can use that link to read along with me today. So, let's begin. Self-synthesis. The way we think determines the quality of our lives. At times, you need to go with the flow, to allow life to unfold without pushing against that which is happening. Basically, time flows where attention goes. Does the river worry where it runs? Sometimes you just need to let some things go, which from my own personal experience can be a very, very hard thing to do. A lot of people hold on to the past for too long. Next, the sign of a civilization is in the way the old and the young are considered and treated. Are we on a collective scale declining? Well, let's see. We have the euthanasia of the old. We have sex education in kindergarten. We have rising divorce levels across all cultures. Let's stop and think. Hey, who's going to take care of you when you're old? Well, that's one reason why we have kids. And don't tell me that the government is going to take care of everything for me. I don't believe that for 1 second. Next. So what if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing? Maybe you should be doing what you feel like doing. I think it's pretty much true that you need to be where you are. Otherwise you will miss most of your life. And the only time that truly exists is now. Next. It's up to us to have a beautiful day. There's something to discover in everything. Or as the Slovaks say, because I'm based in Slovakia, everything bad is good for something. Basically, I think the phrase arose because of some historical problems that the region had. But perhaps it's a reference to the fact that we just need to learn from our mistakes. And an error itself is not a mistake, as long as you correct it. Next. When people ask me, what do you do to define me? I know they are not interested in me, but in themselves. And for me, this is a reference to small talk, which is a great art and a great way to get to know people. But how do you do small talk? How do you create those comfortable little conversations about nothing in particular? Well, just to be genuinely interested in others, that's how. Next. Concentrating on trying to change your emotions is like trying to make the sun rise from the west. Emotions change naturally once your perception changes. Emotions are indicators, not the source of your reality. Respect them all, positive and negative equally. And in addition to that, you need to learn to know how you feel. As the age-old saying goes, you need to listen to your heart. And there's a reason why we say gut reaction. Because sometimes, perhaps more often than we realize, our body is trying to communicate things to our mind, and we need to listen much more carefully. Next. Will defining all rules and regulations bring chaos or inspired peace based on self-guidance, responsibility and respect? It's just a thought. Well, Newton noted around the time of gravitational definition that scientists had discovered no way to properly define the natural world. And so he predicted that they would redefine it and reconfigure it through a complex use of language. All we know is that we don't know. Next. When we are waiting for the weekend to start living, we are obviously on the wrong path. How much of life is killing time? Did you ever utter the words, "I'm bored," during some long extended summer break, holiday or vacation? How in this infinite universe can you be bored? The boring mind breeds boredom, and it's a subtext in all that is taught in state schools. Next. At the age of 6, a child still wants to play and explore, observe, experiment and discover. Schools are doing a very good job of depriving them of all those activities. No normal child wants to sit still for more than 15 minutes unless we are deceiving them with a video, TV, electronic games, or just force. But to know this, we need to observe children in their natural state. Very often, to see the way forward, we need to take a step back. To let go of our fears and inhibitions. To not worry about the future, which is easy to say. But then, if it's too easy, it's probably not good. Just go and try to untangle the Beatles lyrics to "All You Need Is Love." That is mastery. Next. We need to be ready to change when our life's path changes. We usually take a long time realizing the change because our minds live in their own virtual reality of should-bes. And so when there's a difference between what is and what should be, something needs to be done. We need to constantly work on our own personal skills of reflection, adaptation and improvisation. Although we must never compromise ourselves in the process. Next. If spirituality is not a part of our each and every thought, action, intention, and moment of the day, then it is a religion, not spirituality. We haven't understood, we haven't learned the basic lessons. Standing in a church makes you spiritual, but only in the same way that standing in the garage makes you a car. We are all one end of the same experience, a collection of consciousnesses that filter into the world through our hearts. Next. You go back and forth for information, but you go within for knowledge. You reflect as if your soul was a mirror. Your body holds on to time, but your mind walks a different path, unchained. Just try to place a finger on a thought. It's difficult, isn't it? Next. Why do we have the arrogant belief that we can be taught anything, but not how to connect to our own soul? Actually, the truth about teaching is someone helping you and guiding you to de-learn all that you have learned. The Spirit is waiting to guide you. Or simply said, Teaching is to learning as speaking is to listening. They can function in a symbiotic relationship, but they don't have to. They are independent and often too far distant from each other. Next, don't waste your time fighting the wrong fights. Time is precious. Pick and choose your battles. Fight the good fight, the struggle for truth. Know when to walk away. And know which time is the right time. For in each thing that you do, you need the right time, the right place, and the right people. 2 out of 3 just isn't good enough. Next, if you're using your left brain to spell out the meaning of you and your world, you're managing your life through a very limiting perception. Science has shown us that we don't have just one brain. You have at least 2 brains, and perhaps spiritually even more. Do not let your language limit your perceptions of the world around you. Do not be afraid to create what you need, because to be able to spell is to have the ability to create magic. Next, the real meaning of maturity is a return to innocence, consciously. We need to grow out as much as we need to grow up, to extend, to branch out like a tree turned upwards, towards the sun, to bear our burdens as we must, to know our time is limited for a reason, to teach, to learn, and to remember the golden rule of life: do no harm. And these are the thoughts today. I'd like to thank you very much for your attention. Native Speakers Academy is a small independent center for educational theory and research. Please support us by visiting our websites, nsa-slovakia.com and nsa-education.com. We're also all over the internet. Just use a search engine. Remember that if you like this, then please share the original website, web page, or article, or you can even share this version of the information. Post a link to your friends on Facebook or Google+. I hope that I gave you something to think about today. I know that reading through these quotes sparked thousands of ideas within my own mind, and I hope that you can take them, use them, and maybe add something to them as well. Anyway, I will talk to you again soon. Until then, stay safe and have a good day. Bye for now.